Welcome to Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. I'm Benjamin, and today I'm going to share with you one of my otter themes, and I don't mean otter or an animal theme. I mean otter, ODD, as in an unexpected as in an unexpected theme. Today I'm going to share with you the theme of shirts and ties on banknotes. And as I got into this, I thought, well, how utterly ridiculous this is. And it's an interesting theme, and it encompasses, no doubt, hundreds of different banknotes from around the world. I've only got a small number to share with you today. It's up to you guys to add to the list. But as I did my research, my friend Wikipedia, I like to donate to them every year for the work I use. I work for the information they provide me, but I found out that suits and ties started with standards established by King Charles II in the 16th century. That's fascinating to me. The current style is rooted in the great male renunciation of the late 18th century. The elaborated embroidered and jeweled look of outfits gave way to the simpler clothing style of the British Regency, which in turn evolved into the stark formality of the Victorian era. So we have King Charles II to thank for this suit nightmare that we have nowadays. It was in the late 19th century that a quest for comfort loosened up rules, and now we have the modern lounge suit. And strangely enough, Brooks Brothers figures in this. They were credited with being the first ready-to-wear suits that you could buy off of a rack because they were pre-made to inches. All modern neckties, I found out, are descended from the cravat, which, strangely enough, can be traced back to the cravat that was worn by Croatian mercenaries of the early 17th century. I knew there was a problem with wrapping some sort of cloth around my neck and not liking it. Please check your cowboy themes notes and see if any bolo ties actually exist on these notes. I never found any, but that doesn't mean they're not out there. Now, when we get to the note of Saddam Hussein, remind me, because I want to point out something unique about his tie. Okay? The first note I'm going to share with you is this 500 yen of Japan, and there you go. You see the suit, and you see the bow tie. Here's the next note. It's a 1 dinar from Jordan, and there's the king wearing his Western suit and tie. I like him better when I see him in his keffiyeh. Moving over to the Philippines, who promise that they don't wear these suits ever because of the heat in the Philippines. Well, here's one of their leaders wearing that suit. His suit and tie on the front of this 100 peso banknote. And coming up next, sorry about that, guys. Coming up next is our friend Saddam Hussein. Goodness. Right here. You see him? Now, here's what I wanted to point out about Saddam Hussein's note. Saddam Hussein is wearing his tie. If you can see, if you were standing behind his shoulder, the angles of his tie the lines on his tie would go from the left shoulder down to the right. That is actually how the UK and the Commonwealth countries wear diagonal stripes on their ties. It was in America where they were worn from the right to the left. So sometimes you can look at a tie and you can kind of see somebody's allegiance, or you can kind of see where somebody's from in the world based on the directionality of the tie. All right, let's take a look at the next note. It is from Ghana. We have a 10,000 cedis, and we have a whole slew of people wearing suits and ties. I count 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Interesting. So we have we have banknotes from the Middle East, from Asia, from Africa, wearing suits and ties. You know who you won't find wearing a suit and tie? This guy. This guy does not wear suits and ties. He is a daily kilter, however, and we can discuss that if you ever need to. Here is a note from the Central Bank of, well, where is this from? Cameroon, maybe? This is a banknote from Cameroon, and there you go. You have the president wearing a suit and tie, a lovely red tie, as it were. That's not one of my better condition notes. Yeah, it's a Cameroon note. Not one of my best condition notes, but sometimes those conditions can be intriguing. We're going to move from there to Burundi. This is a 500 franc, and we have a gentleman wearing a suit and tie. A lot of these suits that you see have the launched lapel, which I promised you before I did any research on this topic, I had no clue what that was. I'm still not convinced I do, but we have some sharp-dressed men on these banknotes. Let's move from Burundi to a unique note from Brazil. This is a scene from the 1800s, and it shows lots of people in suits and bow ties, and it looks like they're having some sort of governmental meeting. And what makes it neat is this vignette is the same whether you have the note top or bottom. And they did that because they said, well, it helps the tellers at a bank. They don't have to spend so much time lining their notes up. And while there's some truth to that, and while we have some unique notes with vertical alignments and such, Brazil is the only country that had a whole series of notes that had the vignette split down the middle so that it was the same regardless of the direction you held it in. So, I don't know, I kind of like it. Wish they do a little variety of that again. Let's move to Botswana with 100 pula for this next note. It is set in the 1800s, and these three gentlemen, who I need to do a video of this banknote alone, are representatives of kingdoms that became part of Botswana, which is one of the only parts of Africa that never became colonized, because these three men went to England to see Queen Victoria and asked to become a protectorate, and they did. And as a protectorate of Queen Victoria, they were never colonized, so there must be something to that. Lovely scene of these gentlemen wearing suits and ties. We're going to move from there to Angola. And we have a poet and first president of the nation wearing his suit and tie. And a wedding ring and a pretty thick pair of glasses, if you ask me as well. But nevertheless, an interesting note. We'll be moving to Europe for the next note. A communist part of Europe. This is an Albanian banknote, and it's not the lady on the front that's wearing the suit and tie. Here on the back we have a scene of young professionals, and the young professionals not only are wearing suits and ties, but they're carrying bookcases, or bookcases. They're carrying like valise or briefcases, I guess I should say. We'll move from Albania to one of my personal favorite countries, and that would be Afghanistan. And here we have Prince David, who was the first cousin of the Shah, who overthrew the Shah when the Shah was in Italy for his health check. And here we have him wearing a suit. You see the notches there? You see the tie there? We have him wearing a Western style suit on the front of this 500 Afghanis. From Yugoslavia, let's move to Turkmenistan. Here on this Turkmenistan suit, our suited gentleman, we have a 50 Manat, and we have the leader of Turkmenistan to the right wearing a pinstripe suit with some sort of elaborately designed tie. Unrelated to this note, I did find out that in the 40s, a lot of ties here in the United States were painted. Isn't that crazy? And now let's look at Nigeria. This is a final note I'm going to share with you tonight in this theme of suits and ties. And again, we go back to Africa, and we see Alvin Ikoku wearing shirt, tie, and notched lapelled suit. So there you go, guys. There's literally hundreds of notes that are not part of this exhibit and theme, and I hope that you guys would like and subscribe and add to this list. What an unusual but interesting exhibit that could be made at an A&A show around the theme of suit and ties. Maybe even get Brooks Brothers to donate some cloth samples. Who knows? It could be well done. It really could. And then who doesn't have an old tie in the closet? Wouldn't that be neat to have a nice banknote exhibit with lots of little ties as the frou-frou in the exhibit? I don't know. I'm Benjamin. This is Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. Like and subscribe, cuss and discuss, and have a jewel of a day.